Hey everyone, welcome to day 3, I guess this is day 4 of our road trip. We are in Revelstoke right now with these videos. We spent the whole day in Revelstoke. We went to Mount Revelstoke first, did Meadows in the Sky Parkway. It is in Mount Revelstoke, which is a national park, so you do have to pay to get in. It cost our family $21 to do so. And this is kind of my birthday present for this trip. We do seem to have our family trips coincide very close to my birthday, so I tend to get something out of it and we kind of mix it all together and we call it my birthday present. This particular one's pretty awesome because we were technically like the first people going up. You did see a car in front of us. They pulled off at the very first pull off on this drive. It is 26 kilometers up is what it is. There's lots of really tight switchbacks. And I would say it's, if you don't love to be in a car and doing curvy roads, this is not the drive for you. But it's so pretty, you guys. We were there, like it opened at 8 a.m. We were there at 7:30, so we were in line. I wasn't sure how busy it would be. There was a lineup behind us. It wasn't too crazy. However, I have been told that the parking lot that we're headed to fills up and it's almost impossible to find parking once it's full. So that is what we did. What I read online was you go all the way to the top, you do that first, and then you go to the couple places afterwards on your way down. Took that advice. I would recommend doing it as well. If you're there first thing in the morning, you might have a little bit more leeway towards that. However, if you're there probably in the afternoon, I would say go up first, try to find your parking, and then work your way down. It's gorgeous. Do you see these trees? There's wildflowers on the outs, around right by the edge of the road, and it made my heart very, very happy, to say the least. It did remind me, I used to watch a show called The Wilderness Family. Do you remember those movies? I don't know if that's something that would have been out for worldwide, but I grew up watching those movies, and this is kind of what it reminded me of, to be honest with you. There were signs to beware of bear and what do you call it? Bugs? I don't know. On the side of the road. We didn't see anything, thankfully. We saw butterflies and a bunny. Nothing too crazy. Then we made it to the top. This is so pretty. This is where you have to park. There is a road that goes all the way up to the fire lookout, Summit Fire Lookout, which is what we're hiking up to. However, it is closed. I think it's only available if you have accessibility problems. I think there's 5 spots up there. So this is where we park. There is a washroom here if you need to use it, outhouse type. But then look at these views. And of course, being the first people there, we had unobstructed views and it was gorgeous. There are hikes available along this lake that you can take as well. But the thing I wanted to do was take the upper summit trail to the Summit Fire Lookout. That was what I wanted. Now I will say I was unaware of exactly how much of a hike this was. We are not a hiking family, and so it was a bit of a trek. We made it. It was fine. Bring water. And remember that you are very high up in elevation, and so you get tired and winded a lot easier than you would if you were just hiking, lower down. Those are just kind of my tips for you. But look at these views. And my kids were such good sports, even though they were exhausted and they weren't exactly happy with me about this. But Sean kept pushing them, nicely, nudging them along, and everyone made it. It was fine. I got this adorable photo of them too. I love this one with the fog in the background. And then we just kept going. We took a few breaks here and there. I think, again, if we had water, it would have been fine. And though the views are absolutely stunning. And if you get to go when it's not obstructed and there's not fog and stuff, your views are going to be just absolutely stunning. Didn't exactly happen with us because we did have the clouds, but I still say it was worth it. I thought it was awesome. And Jackson found a butterfly that he actually got to hold, like it kind of I don't know, flew into his hand. So he was very excited about that, and that kept him going, which was awesome. My other two just kind of, made it through. You'll see in the photos that, they weren't happy with me, but it was my birthday present, so they went along. This is what it looked like with the fog. Again, it was still really pretty, but out in the distance, if there was not the fog, you would see beautiful mountain ranges that we missed, but it's all good. We made it through. I got my photos. The big thing is these red chairs that are about to pop up in the photos. They are part of being in a national park. There's these red park chairs, and this is the first time I got photos with them, so it was exciting for me. It was a really big deal, and I treated my kids with treats afterwards because I was so proud of them for making it through and letting me do this. And we had a bit of a drive back down, so they got to rest, and it was fine. Plus, the rest of the day was all about them and getting to do pretty much the reason why we went on this road trip, and that is to visit Revelstoke Mountain Resort. So you're going to see that as well, but I want to finish off with these photos. Look at those wildflowers. We made it. The summit is 6,350 feet up, I believe. It's high. That's the elevation. But look at these. I mean, you can't beat these photos, right? They're just amazing. And then we walked down the road to get back down instead of the trail, which was much easier. So if that's something you're into, you don't want to hike up the actual trail, you could just walk up the road. I think it might actually even be a little bit shorter. So there is that, if that is something you're interested in it. I do highly recommend it. Just be more prepared than us and bring bug spray. I was prepared for that, just forgot the water. So shame on mommy, but we made it through. It's all good. And again, these views, you cannot beat this. How gorgeous is this drive? Like, I can't even put into words how much I loved this. And I was so thankful that we got to do it. It was my top bucket list thing to do on this road trip. So I was so thankful that my family, like I said, we're good sports about it and let us do it. All right, so let's move on and get to Revelstoke Mountain Resort. I will say the directions on how to get here, like the directions are fine, we got there, but the signing was not the best. They could have better signing. That's all I'm going to say. But we made it, and they got to ride the gondola. What do you think?
Good. Yay. I love it.
Look how high we're going. As you can see, kids were a big fan of this. They have never been in a gondola before, so it was very, very exciting. My youngest Barrett, he loved it so much. He kept talking about it after we left. and it was just awesome. So we made it to where the pipe coaster is. It's kind of the halfway point up the mountain. And we did have to go, kind of have to take turns going. There was a weight limit on these coasters, meaning that I had to go with both Barrett and Nora, and then Sean and Jackson each went alone on their own coaster. But we couldn't leave one of the little ones up alone, so I had to go down with Barrett, and then Sean and Jackson went, and then I went down with Nora. So look at these photos. Barrett loved this. I have never heard him squeal in delight so much in my life. It was amazing. You can see in this photo just how much he loved it. It was top for him. Jackson did enjoy it, but I think it hurt his back a little bit, so he did, but maybe not as much as he wanted it to. And Nora loved it. She also had a great time and wanted to go again. I got to go on both tracks. There's 2 tracks to this, and I felt like I was getting air with Nora on track 1, and track 2 I found to be more kind of like curvy, I guess would be the word for it. You get to pick which coaster you want, like which track you want to do. And I honestly not sure I pick which one's the best, but I did find with one I got air. So there's that. All right, so then we get to go back up even more on the gondola. This is going to take us to the very top of the resort, the mountain. And yes, you went way up on this. It was crazy. We even stopped for a minute, which I wasn't super comfortable with, but it's okay. It did go again. I'm fine going up high, but when you're just dangling there, I get a little apprehensive. Thankfully, like I said, it wasn't for very long. But yeah, it just kept going and going and going, and we were like, is it ever going to end? But it was beautiful. Again, you got to see all the gorgeous flowers, and the views were just amazing. So that is how we enjoyed our gondola trip up to the top of the Revelstoke Mountain Resort. At the top, we had, like I said, absolutely gorgeous views. It was stunning. The clouds had cleared off by that time because we're now mid-morning. I'd say it's probably like 11 when we got there. Quite warm, and there was a risk of thunder and lightning, like thunderstorms here on this day, so we weren't sure exactly what was going to happen. I was also told by the lady at the pipe coaster that it was like this random off day. It was quiet. It's not normally this quiet. It was normally like an hour wait for the coaster, so we lucked out, which was awesome. And then here you can see these super cute photos. These are the ski lift options, and I don't know what they mean, but that's what it was. And then the view that we had. There's a restaurant there as well, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then this is called Glacier View Deck. So you can see some glaciers off in the distance. That was so cool. I was very happy that it had cleared off enough for us to see that. We are, I'm not sure if Revelstoke, if the mountains we're in, are considered into the Rockies, but we are butted up right next to the Rockies here, which is very, very cool for me. All right, so we took some photos. We went on a little hike to a waterfall, which was kind of neat. It's not a massive waterfall. It's the middle of summer, so it's not like it was anything crazy, but this was the perfect hike for us. It was a total of 30 minutes, 15 minutes there and back. Nothing crazy, no steep hills, nothing like that. So we're still up in elevation here. I don't think we're as high as we were in Mount Revelstoke, but I do think it is still quite, obviously it's the top, it's where everyone's skiing, so it's high. But it wasn't too bad. Kids enjoyed this one. There were neat little signs that kind of told you about wildlife and flowers and stuff, so that was really, really neat, and we enjoyed this one. However, we got to the end of it and we were about to get onto the gondola to head back down, and we were told that there was lightning in the area and the gondola was not in service at the moment. So we ordered $18 fries. We got 2 orders of fries, came to $18. That was crazy. And ate some fries and kind of waited for it to pass. We then had a 30-minute window to head back down, and so we definitely did that within that time frame. We didn't want to get it stuck up there any longer, but it was fun. All in all, this was a great time. We then headed out. We were headed to Three Valley Gap, which was our last destination for the night. That's where we were staying at Three Valley Gap Chateau. However, unfortunately, there was a very bad accident on the highway and it closed the highway down for 4 hours. And so we didn't actually make it to our hotel room until about 7 o'clock that night. And we were planning to be there, I think, even before 4. Like, we were planning to be there before I think we could even check in. But we just ended up having dinner and playing at a park. And once it opened, we got there just fine. Like I said, it was only a 15-minute drive, so it's not like it was anything too crazy. But the kids were excited once we got there, and we had a little deck off of our room, which was gorgeous, gorgeous views. Perfect way to watch the sun kind of set over the mountains. It's called Three Valley Gap because we're in the middle of 3 different mountains there. So that's kind of where it comes from. And there's also a ghost town attached to it, which will be in tomorrow's video, which will be our last video to wrap up our last day of vacation. So this was a very long day full of lots of hiking, but we all made it and we enjoyed a lovely room at the end. The room itself was nothing special, but the views, like I said, you could not beat the views from this place. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys all on our last video coming up soon. Bye, everyone.